Alright, abusia mo bibi akwa abason koso krade by GH Politics Avenue. So yatenase say so dia no wa ni twa se no ma pe koso Ghana and political highway ni so na ye dey by ready ba be down. Ti be so bia so binya brand penya tenase no be enjoy program so koso. Ni esra mo ene dey di kan mo be dwumadi so say mo be subscribe to our channel. No I like a share ama from so nsa ka dwumadi pa ye bo wo ye GH Politics Avenue so. Like, share, subscribe, we so na see wa no click on the notification bell so the bear you drop your update be on so sabit me akabi yen say obre pin nti e boy rene de nsem ne e boy rene de nsem ma na ekopiem wo ye attorney general ye owura Dominic Ayine so akache ekopiem wo no ma de nsem na akopiem wo ne de accountability of the attorney general office so etimi akoso e ma odi nsem bi ebetu djama manfo busabisa nsem a na etro ma adwene so ma odi munchiremu ne munsem pi ebedan ti ebe so bia so bekan obusua nsem ekopiem won se ewura Ken Offori Atta ho asem na manfo pi ekobusa attorney general Dominic Ayine oka ombusa ne se owura Ken Offori Atta de Abutrica ama US aban die ntina US aban enso emma Ken Offori Atta ho ensem bia yen se obre pin nti ebekwa kwoti nsem ekoso onum yebekwa kwoti nchiremu nso a ewura Dominic Ayine edema omo yen se obia obre pin nti abusua menkotie de ewura Dominic Ayine muaye a odema nipa na obisa asa question menkotie nsem ekoso
of this case. I would like also to thank our third-party non-state actors such as Zodiac, Custody UK, Chain Analysis UK, OK Exchange UK, and the European banks, whose understanding and compliance have paved the way for a breakthrough in innovative cryptocurrency investigations for a safer and credible virtual asset space that protects the vulnerable and ensures accountability. Most importantly, the Economic and Organized Crime Office and my office would like to extend our utmost gratitude to Ghana's judiciary for their pioneering role in studying and guiding us through the complex case which is going to set a new benchmark for international law enforcement, especially on the continent of Africa in respect of how to apply local laws to target virtual assets in foreign jurisdictions. In particular, the EOCO would like to thank her leadership, Justice Gwendolyn Millicent Owusu of the High Court Economic and Financial Crime Division for her leadership and guidance through the process. Without her understanding of the complexities of this case, that this achievement would nearly have been impossible. As you may have realized, we have omitted the names of the criminal entities, names of individuals, as well as the names of the victims. This is because this case remains active and is open. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, my fellow countrymen and women, the Economic and Organized Crime Office as a law enforcement agency has seen rapid transformation in the execution of its statutory mandate. This has been evident in the work that the office has done in this year alone. You recall that two high-profile cases, or investigations involving the National Signal Bureau and the Buffer Stock Company have been completed and are, before the courts for trial. And trials have started, in both cases. Other dockets have been completed and are awaiting review by my office prior to charges being filed. And I'm sure the Minister for Government Communications will confirm later that we have another announcement to make on Monday involving some high-profile politically exposed persons that got themselves involved in certain criminal activities. Now, in terms of recoveries, the Economic and Organized Crime has exceeded the 2025 target, which was set at 200 million. Recoveries currently stand at 337.4 million. This figure means that it has exceeded its 2025 recovery by over 133.4 million. This is the highest recovery in the history of the agency. The recovery represents completed cases of both direct and indirect recoveries. Direct recoveries are recoveries that are deposited directly into the exhibit account of the office. This currently stands at about 194 million. Indirect recoveries, on the other hand, are recoveries that are paid directly to either GRA or the consolidated fund. This amount stands at 142.6 million. The success story of the Economic and Organized Crime Office shows that institutions matter, but institutional leadership is crucial to the success of the institutions we create as a country. The current leadership of the EOCO shows that when leadership bestows integrity, institutions perform their mandated functions optimally. At the national level, we are witnesses to the leadership being provided by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Without his committed support for my office and the EOCO, we would not have been here today. We are grateful for that support. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the announcement. So the basic takeaway is that through very complex, very groundbreaking investigations conducted by one of Ghana's foremost law enforcement agencies, we have recovered 15.191 million United States of American dollars. Some of that money will go to pay victims that were defrauded, but a greater part of the money will be retained, and then paid into the public kitty. So this is the announcement for today. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I will now take them.
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Attorney General, for that crisp briefing. So for those of you in the media present here who have questions for him in relation to the subject matter of today's press conference or any matter that is under his jurisdiction, you are free now to walk to the microphone, identify yourself, and ask the question.
Hello, good morning. My name is Shadrach.
Good to see you.
Odame.
My friend Odame.
Yes, I'm back.
Please go ahead, yeah.
Metro TV Ghana. Yesterday, prior to his presentation today, I was going through social media and I saw this. It says, how does the Attorney General answer Ghanaians who said the extradition order should cut both ways, such that when the U.S. wants someone extradited to U.S., we also exchange with someone on Ghana's wanted list, i.e. Offori Atta for Abutrica? Thank you.
All right. In other words, you are saying that there should be reciprocity. Okay. It's a valid question. Is there any other question, please? Yeah, Hanan. Since your name appeared in some briefing, you have been reluctant to ask questions. All right.
My name is Addo Adam, and I work with EIB Network. And Minister,
you stand accused of dropping some of your names.
Okay, Minister, how soon should we expect Mr. Offori Atta and his accomplice to be extradited to Ghana to face the alleged charges that you mentioned? Once a time frame, whether you know of any time frame. And secondly, you mentioned my namesake and then the former executive director for the Signals Bureau. And the last time you were in court, represented by your deputy AG, the head of finance at the National Signals Bureau is said to have contradicted what you made public the last time, that some amount of 7 million Ghana cedis in terms of transfer were made, dollars rather, was made. But then the head of finance at the National Signals Bureau is said to have contradicted what you said, bringing back arguments that you ought to file your charges rather than announcing these charges in the media. So is it the case that you say you have an announcement on Monday? Would you be guided and wait and file your charges and prosecute your case in court rather than continuously engaging us, even though you are accounting to the people? People think that would be much better. Would you agree? Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much for your question. Is there any other, please? All right. So I would invite the Attorney General to answer these questions. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you very much. The first question relates to the principle of reciprocity, whether we should expect that the U.S. authorities, having taken some Ghanaians, by way of extradition to the United States of America, will also, in exchange, reciprocate by extraditing Ken Offori Atta to Ghana. Now, the principle of reciprocity underlines extradition proceedings. And usually, without a bilateral treaty or a multilateral treaty arrangement that obligates a state to extradite persons accused of crime that are found within its territory to another country, usually extradition cannot take place. In the case of Ghana and the United States of America, there is a 1931 extradition treaty that was signed between the United States of America and Great Britain when Ghana was a colony of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Now, that treaty expired as far as the United Kingdom is concerned. So it's no longer applicable between the United States and the United Kingdom. But it has not expired. It was renewed when we became independent in 1957. And so it is still in existence between Ghana and the United States. Now, if you look at Article 3 of that extradition treaty, it lists the extraditable offenses. And then it also provides the principles of extradition, okay, of which reciprocity is one, all right? But extradition is based upon certain legal principles, okay? Now, if the offense, for instance, does not fall within the ambit of the extraditable offenses provided under the treaty, it will be very difficult for a person to be extradited. Okay, if, for instance, there is a sense that persecution will take place rather than prosecution, that a person will not be treated fairly if extradited, it's most likely, extradition will not take place. If you cannot show by your extradition packet, that is the request that you have sent to the U.S., that the one that I have sent to the U.S., there is sufficient evidence, okay, to come to a conclusion, a reasonable conclusion that a crime has been committed, even though you still have the burden to prove that crime beyond reasonable doubt, all right, extradition may not be granted. So the basic point I want to make is that, yes, the principle of reciprocity applies, okay, and I would have been very happy to hand over Abutrica as I have done, okay, and then get Offori Atta quickly in return, all right? But usually, the extradition proceedings take place in a court of competent jurisdiction. In our case, that is the district court, all right? In the U.S., it will also be the federal district court. Now, mind you, to stop accounting to the people prior to filing charges. That, for me, is the best way to tell the people the steps you've taken, the results you've obtained, all right, before you go and file charges. So I'm not going to abandon that strategy. And I can tell you from where I sit, there was no contradiction. Okay? Whatever happens, $7 million were transferred. Nobody is fighting. Nobody is saying that $7 million were not transferred. All right? From the public BNC into the private BNC. $7 million. The evidence is solid. The day my investigator takes the stand, you will see from his witness statement the documentary evidence, including bank transfer, advice. Okay? Advice slips that show that $7 million was transferred. Counsel for Edubohin, the Honorable Atta, spent a lot of time cross-examining on the exchange rate. And that is where this whole issue about whether it was 7 million, it was 49 million, or it was, whatever. $7 million were transferred. All right? So the exchange rate for me is of no moment as far as my case is concerned. And ladies and gentlemen, take it from me. even if I succeed in proving that one city, okay, Hanan, listen to me. You ask the question. Even if I succeed in proving that one city of public money was stolen, I have made my case. So this whole debate about how much was transferred or not is of no moment to me. From a purely criminal law point of view, it is of no moment to me. All right? The judge is not going to strike my case, throw my case out because I have not proven that exactly 49 million was stolen. Once I can prove that even one city was stolen, all right, he's guilty of stealing. All right? And for those of you in the media, I keep saying that ask the critical questions. If you have the access to the witness statements which we have filed, all right, ask yourself, okay, in March 2020, 16 million Ghana cedis was put into fixed deposit accounts in Kobna Edubohe's name. Was that public expenditure of the money? I leave that question to you because I know everyone is watching, including the judge. I'm not going to comment on the matter in an adverse way, but I just want to ask the critical questions because what the strategy that Kobna Edubohe and his acolytes in the social media and mainstream media have engaged in is to continuously misreport. At some point in time, I thought of bringing applications for contempt because they are undermining the very administration of justice. Have you ever seen or heard my deputy, the Honorable Justice Srimsai, commenting on the case after court? I have given him strict instructions. We don't do that. All right? We are the leaders of the bar. We must go by the ethical traditions of the bar. You don't comment on a case in a manner that adversely, affects the case that is being made in court. But this is what they have been doing. So they get bloggers, they pay everyone to be saying things that are not. So, for instance, if you say, the evidence is now coming out that Ghana must go bags of money were being transferred, it's normal at the national security. For God's sake, I didn't say, if you look at my case, I never said that Kobna Edubohe stole money in Ghana must go bags. Have I made that case? So what is the relevance of the Ghana must go bags argument? All right, I leave it to you, to your judgment. But if you look at my case, there were bank transfers. And I also have evidence of how the money was spent. Okay? How the money was spent. From March 2020 to August 2020, he had finished spending the $7 million. Whether you are whatever exchange rate of exchange you are using, the money was finished, and I have all the bank details, including transfers of 200,000, 100,000, who took it and what. I have all of that. All right. So please, the media, ask the critical questions of them, because I have briefed you. I have briefed Ghanaians. I have made my case, to the Ghanaian people. All right. Nothing has contradicted the evidence that I have presented. And mind you, there is no way that I, given my years of professional experience, will come and tell the Ghanaian people one thing when I do not have the evidence to prove it in court. All right? So you watch the space. When my investigator takes the stand, you will understand very well the case that we've made in court. And from all the cross-examination, I don't see anything that is relevant or damaging to the case that I have made in court. Are there any more questions? Okay.
Yeah. Maxwell Ababa, Joy FM. Joy FM Joy News here.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've been talking about the extradition. We've been seeing a lot of extradition of our nationals to other countries to face justice. But we've also seen the repatriation of nationals from neighboring countries, some of them engaged in cyber crime, some of them engaged in romance fraud and all of that. Sometime in April, the Interior Minister actually said that
we are not interested in prosecuting our neighbors who come in and then engage in cyber, crime and then romance fraud. I have the specific quote there. He said sometime in April 2025, Daily Graphic actually published that. I don't have my phone here. I would have pulled out the exact quote. So I want to find out from you, are we going to continue repatriating persons engaged in romance fraud? Those who come from neighboring countries, are we going to continue repatriating them, or we would prosecute them? I'm asking this because I think on Sunday, the Cybersecurity Authority made a major arrest somewhere around Kaswa. Are we going to prosecute those people or, repatriate them? Because it will be counterproductive if we repatriate them. Some of them will just jump on the next available bus and then come back to Ghana. My second question has to do with the Cybersecurity Amendment Bill 2025. I know your office contributes actually in the drafting of bills, and you have legal oversights in that area. Many have raised concerns that aspects of that bill criminalizes free speech. They say that it also duplicates functions that other state institutions are already providing. President Mahama, I remember the GJ Awards, stated that he's heard the concerns of civil society organizations, and something is going to be done about that particular bill. I want to find out from you, have these concerns reached your desk, and what changes are we likely to see to that bill? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. So your first question relates to repatriation and prosecution. Well, I don't remember precisely what the Honorable Minister for the Interior said with respect to whether we will repatriate.
All right, Abusiane say ya Attorney General Dominic Kayini ene eka say ochire mu say eye Abutrica ujanu ma US aban no wenjani mu ama US aban na chese nka ninsa intimi nka eye ken Offori Atta o se ni nyina aka extradition rules no yense obi biara brepi ni nti ye de sia anum say GH Politics Avenue so ye be so bia so be subscribe to our channel no like ya share na ye say kai mu say abre nyina mba be check so e wo ye page no so say ya drop update bia if you say ahanom de ne o mapa e so Ghana political highway no so na abre nyina ye de be down yense obi brepi ni nti ye de sia anum makramo